Peace to the gods. Peace to the gods. So today I want to talk about what I learned today about microRNAs and why food is information and why you are what you eat. So Bruce Lipton is a cell biologist that talks about epigenetics and how epigenetics is a study of how your genes are being controlled by information above your genetics, above your genes. So, DNA is the molecular blueprint for every living thing. Every living thing stems from DNA. That's where everything stems from. We all share the same DNA.
DNA, also known as deoxyribonucleic acid, is a molecule. It's a bunch of atoms stuck together. In the case of DNA, these atoms combine to form the shape of a long, spiraling ladder, sort of like this one here. If you ever studied biology or saw the movie Jurassic Park, you probably heard that DNA acts as a blueprint or a recipe for a living thing. But how?
And genes are a segment of that DNA that code for something. Genes are information. When it comes to food, no matter if you cook it or if you freeze it, so no matter if it's hot or cold, it still holds microRNAs, it still holds that information. So the information from the food is sent to your bloodstream and is translated by your cells to regulate your genes, essentially controlling your behavior. So that is how epigenetics works. That is how you are being controlled by things like your food, what you consume. So things like GMO food contain GMI, also known as genetically modified information. So truly, when you are consuming genetically modified food, processed food, you don't know the information that you are consuming. You don't know the information that you are putting into your body. You don't know the information that your cells, that your DNA, that your genes are picking up on. You do not know the information. So that's why you have to be careful what you consume. Be careful what you eat. I'm going to play a video to better explain DNA and to better explain how microRNAs work.
For the longest time, we thought if we just eat food, our digestive system breaks down that food, and the cooking will break down living things, or freezing and all that will neutralize all the aspects of the food, and so that we can use just food as building blocks. However, something new was found, and this is about the microRNA. It turns out that the microRNA molecules in the food we eat is picked up by our digestive system and transferred to our own cells and regulates our own genetics. So all of a sudden, the concept of what you eat, you become, actually has a scientific foundation to it. It says that we alter our own genetic readout by the food we eat. This study by Bouchereau and Choupeau, we're studying the uptake of microRNAs from rice in diets of an Asian diet. And what they found was that the microRNAs were not broken down in the digestive system. They were picked up intact from the food, transported across the wall of the gut, and then they enter the blood of our biology, our body. Well, this becomes really, really relevant in a world where we are now playing with genetically modified foods, because we're going to be picking up epigenetic microRNAs that we have no knowledge about, that have never really been in our diet or on our planet before. What is the consequence of altering our genetics with unknown microRNAs? Well, we're soon going to find out about that. And here's a very important point about the microRNAs. No matter if you cook the food, you freeze the food, the microRNAs are very small molecules and very stable. And these molecules don't break down, so that you always are getting active genetic regulating molecules from the food you eat. Good idea now to think about, what are you eating? And the whole concept really says, for the better world and the better of humanity and the better health for yourself, we must return back to more natural foods. Eating organic foods whenever possible. Eating foods that are not grown in petrochemical environments, because those chemical informations from the petrochemicals alter the genetic readout, which in turn alters the microRNAs. The food you eat has a profound influence on your biology, your genetics, and your health. And now we find that this is not just an idea like, oh, I really think that happens. Now it's a scientific fact. We know that information molecules from food are picked up by our digestive system, and those molecules enter our bloodstream and then subsequently affect our genetics. With that awareness, think before you eat. Eat carefully. Take care of yourself. Return to the more natural foods.
But that is all for this video. Shout out to the Honorable Prophet Elihu the Christ. I love myself. Peace to the gods.